would just encourage people to just be brave and maybe not be afraid to stick their neck out there a little bit and just make a friend.
You mentioned that you've moved several times. So have we. It's so hard to move. I love it and hate it all at the same time. I'm a person who is okay with change much better than my husband and my oldest daughter. I just do a little bit better with change in my life, but they're not as great at it. I shouldn't say they're bad at it. They just don't like it as much. And so I know it's hard to get into a new community. As you've moved, what are some ways that you have found to build community and make friends with people in a new town?
Yeah, I think that's so true. I have at least one child that is definitely does not like change, and so I understand though. I mean, there's a comfort with sameness. There's a security with that. But I have been the newbie a couple of times. We moved one big move from the Midwest to the East Coast, and then from the East Coast back to the Midwest, but to a new place in the Midwest. And so I do remember when we had first moved here to Minnesota, I was going to this, it was just like a chess class, kind of fun afternoon type of thing. Some kids were doing chess, some kids were doing gym, and I had this little toddler. And so I was just kind of like following her around. It was hard to connect with people. And plus I was new, and it does take a lot of vulnerability to go introduce yourself to somebody. And so I just didn't really want to. I just didn't want to. It's hard. And so I would walk the hall, this kind of lobby area with Vera, and just follow after her as she ran around. And there was this group of moms. There's 3 moms, and they just seemed so fun and funny. Like I always heard them laughing. They just had like a way about them that it was just a sweet, like, I don't know if energy is the right word, but I just liked the way that they seemed. And it was just like, oh, I want to be their friend. And so I realized after a few weeks that they all 3 had daughters the same age as my Sophia. And I think that they were about 8 years old, 7 or 8, somewhere in there. And maybe a little bit younger, actually. It all blurs together. But anyway, I don't even know what came over me. I wasn't even really like prepared with logistics, or I hadn't really even thought it through. So I'm not quite sure if I would recommend that exactly. But I knew that Sophie liked to read. I knew that these moms seemed really fun and sweet. And I knew that they had daughters the same age. And so one day I just went over to them and I just said, hey, I'm new and my daughter loves to read. Would your girls ever be interested in starting a book club with Sophia? And we could just read a book a month, and we could trade off who hosts or whatever. And all 3 of them were super excited. They were totally on board, and we started a book club that lasted for years. When our girls got to that like 8th grade area where they were they kind of were, one of them really got into dance, one of them got into something else. So it's just, they kind of dispersed a little bit, but they're all still friends. Us moms are all still friends. We don't connect like as frequently as we used to, but we're all still friends. And that was such a sweet time. And so I would just encourage people to just be brave and maybe not be afraid to stick their neck out there a little bit and just make a friend. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you won't regret trying, because then you'll know, right?
Yeah, that's right. If you don't try, you'll never know. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.